Hello, designers! Welcome back. And today, I want to take you into something incredibly simple yet unbelievably powerful in the world of AI. Good prompts are a superpower. And I don't say that lightly. We often think the magic lies inside the AI model, but the real magic actually sits with you. It's your clarity, your intention, your ability to guide the AI with sharp, structured instructions. That's what transforms the output. Give AI a vague prompt, and you'll get vague, forgettable work. But give AI a clear, well designed prompt and suddenly it feels like you have a senior teammate sitting next to you, helping you think, create, analyze, and design faster than ever. So today, let's break this down together. Let me show you how to turn your everyday prompts into something precise, strategic, and incredibly useful, something that elevates not just the AI, but your own thinking as a designer. Let's start with the obvious question. Why should you even care about prompt engineering? AI today is like the most powerful assistant you've ever had, but also the most literal one. It works hard, it's incredibly fast, but it doesn't read your mind. So if you say, make a wireframe or help me with research, it will try, but the quality of the result depends entirely on the clarity of your instructions. Think of AI as an ultra talented junior in your team who takes everything at face value. If you're clear, specific, and intentional, you get brilliant, on point work. If you're vague or lazy, you get generic, forgettable output. That's why I like this simple equation. Better prompts, better results. And when I say better results, I'm not talking about 5% better. With well-crafted prompts, you can get 10x improvement, faster exploration, sharper insights, clearer designs, and content that's much closer to final draft than a raw idea. So this isn't just a cool AI trick. This is a core skill for how we'll work, design, and think with AI going forward. Now let's define this properly. Prompt engineering has two sides, the art, the science. The art is the creative side, crafting, engaging, interesting instructions that inspire the AI to give you rich, thoughtful output. It's like briefing a creative team. The better your brief, the better the ideas. The science is the structured side, using precise language, patterns, and techniques that we know work well with language models. Things like defining roles, adding constraints, or specifying formats so that your results are consistent and high quality. So a good definition is prompt engineering is the art and science of writing clear, specific, structured instructions so AI gives you high quality results every single time. And here's the important mindset shift. Just like learning to ask better questions makes you a better student, learning to write better prompts makes you a better AI partner. It forces you to think clearly about your goal, communicate it precisely, and guide the AI towards the outcome you care about. You're not just asking AI something, you're designing its behavior with your words. Let's talk about the genie problem because it's the perfect mental model for AI. We've all heard stories about genies who grant wishes in the most literal way possible. You say, I want to be rich. The tricky genie changes your name to Rich. Technically, it did what you asked, but not what you meant. AI behaves exactly like that. It doesn't understand your intent the way a human teammate might. It only sees your exact words and then fills in the gaps using patterns it has learned from data. So when your instructions are vague, the model guesses. Sometimes it guesses well, often it doesn't. That's why the solution is simple but powerful. Be specific, be clear, be detailed. Instead of, I want to be rich, you'd say, I want to receive $1 million in my bank account safely and legally. In AI terms, that means don't assume the model shares your context. Spell out what you want, what to include, what to avoid, and how the result should look. The more precise your prompt, the closer AI gets to what you actually meant, not just what you literally typed. Now, before we go deeper, we need to understand how AI actually thinks. Models like ChatGPT or Claude don't think like humans. They're not sitting there with opinions and feelings. They are pattern machines. They've been trained on massive amounts of text, and they do one core thing extremely well. They predict what should come next. Given your prompt, they try to complete it in the most likely way based on patterns they've seen. That means three important things. First is pattern prediction. AI is incredible at recognizing and continuing patterns. If your prompt has a strong pattern, clear structure, clear tone, it will follow it. Second is no true understanding. It doesn't understand like we do. It doesn't know you, your stakeholders, your company politics, or your product roadmap. It only sees the words on the screen and the patterns they resemble. Third is quality mirror. The model is like a mirror. Messy prompt, messy output. Structured prompt, structured output. So when we say a prompt is messy, we mean vague instructions, missing context, unclear goals. The result is generic or confused. When we say a prompt is structured, we mean clear instructions, rich context, specific format. The result becomes focused, relevant, and surprisingly high quality. Once you see AI as a pattern mirror, you start caring a lot more about the pattern you feed it. Alright, designers, let's get practical for a moment. Because if there's one thing I want you to remember today, it's this. Every great prompt is built from four simple components. Master these four, and honestly, you've mastered the foundation of prompt engineering. Let's break them down like a conversation between you and the AI. 1. Instruction. What do you want the AI to do? This is your action verb. Tell it exactly what you expect. Write, summarize, explain, critique, analyze, create. Think of it like briefing a junior designer. You never say do something, right? You say write a 200-word summary or explain this concept simply. That clarity matters. 2. Context. Who is this for? What's happening? AI has no idea who your audience is unless you tell it. So give it a bit of background. Think, who am I designing this explanation for? A 10-year-old student and a senior stakeholder need completely different answers. Example. For year 6 students learning about space, just that one line changes the tone, complexity, and choice of words. 3. Input. What information should the AI use? This is the content, the reference, the thing you want it to focus on. It could be a text snippet, a topic, user journey, dataset, anything. Without this, AI starts guessing, and we never want it to guess. Example, about the solar system, focusing on Jupiter and Saturn. Now the AI knows exactly where to aim. Next is output format. How should the answer be delivered? This is your structure. Do you want bullet points, a table, a summary, a step-by-step guide? This part is where you turn something vague into something usable. Example, using simple language with bullet points for key facts. Suddenly the output becomes clean, readable, and ready to use. So here's what a strong prompt looks like when all four components come together. Write a 200-word summary for year 6 students learning about space, about the solar system, focusing on Jupiter and Saturn, using simple language with bullet points for key facts. See how sharp that sounds? See how intentional it feels? This is how you move from a random AI reply to something structured, clear, and ready to drop straight into your work. This is the real power of prompt engineering. Now designers, let's look at something fun, and honestly one of the easiest ways to understand how prompt engineering works. We're going to compare a bad prompt with a good prompt side by side, and once you see the difference, you'll never go back to vague prompts again. So here's the bad one, and I'm sure all of us have typed something like this at some point. Write about space. That's it, just 3 words. Now think about this for a second. What exactly is the AI supposed to do with that? Write for whom? At what level? In what tone? For what purpose? Is this a school assignment, a social media post, a science explanation, a story? See the problem? The instruction is vague, there's no context, no direction, and no structure. So of course the output becomes generic, because the prompt itself was generic. Now let's look at the engineered version, and listen to how much more clarity it brings. Create an educational article explaining the formation and characteristics of black holes, including event horizons and gravitational effects, for a Year 8 science class studying astronomy in 300 words, using an engaging tone with 3-4 key facts highlighted and one real-world example from NASA research. Now that is a prompt. Let's break it down casually. We've told the AI what to do. Create an educational article. We've told it what to cover. Black holes, event horizons, gravitational effects. We've explained who the audience is. Year 8 students. We've given it constraints. 300 words. We've told it how to sound. Engaging tone. We've defined structure. 3-4 key facts plus one NASA example. When you give the model this level of clarity, it finally understands the assignment. It knows the tone, the depth, the angle, the audience, and the end goal. So what happens? The output suddenly becomes useful. Something you can drop into a slide, lesson plan, article, or study material without rewriting half of it. And that's the whole point of this. Same AI, different prompt, completely different quality. The bad prompt makes the AI guess. The good prompt lets the AI perform. And that, right there, is the power of prompt engineering. Now let's bring this into our world, design. Here's the weak design prompt. Design a sign-up page. What's missing? We don't know if it's web or mobile. We don't know who the users are. We don't know what fields matter. We don't know the style, tone, or goals. AI will guess everything, and you'll end up with something that looks like every other generic sign up page. Now look at the engineered version. Act as a senior UI UX designer. Design a sign up page for a mobile app targeted at first time users. Include name, email, password rules, social login options, and a clear CTA. Provide a clean, minimal layout description using bullet points, explain the reasoning behind design choices, and end with 3 usability tips. See what we did? We gave it a role: Senior UI UX Designer. We clarified the context: mobile app first time users. We specified requirements: fields, password rules, social login, CTA. We defined the output, layout description, reasoning, and usability tips. Now, the model isn't just inventing a random UI, it's behaving like a design partner, giving you structure, rationale, and usability guidance you can actually use in your work or critique. Next, let's move into user research. Here is the week prompt: create interview questions for my research. Again, AI has no idea. Research about what? Who are the users? What are you trying to learn? So you get generic questions that could apply to any app on the planet. Now the engineered version. Act as a user research lead. Create 8 open-ended user interview questions to understand why users abandon the checkout process in an e-commerce app. Organize the questions under 3 categories: user behavior, motivations, and pain points. Keep the tone conversational and avoid leading questions. Here, we've done the thinking upfront. Role is user research lead, and the goals to understand why users abandon checkout and learn about behavior, motivations, pain points, open-ended, conversational, non-leading. The result is something you could literally drop into a research plan with minimal editing. This is what I mean when I say prompt engineering saves time and elevates your practice. You go from blank page to solid starting point in seconds. Now let's shift into something many designers and PMs struggle with: product strategy. And again, the difference between a weak prompt and a crafted prompt is huge. Here's the weak version: help me improve my app. Improve what? For whom? Based on which problem or metric? AI has no clue what direction you're aiming for, so it responds with generic buzzwords like improve onboarding, personalize content, add gamification, nothing you can actually use. Now watch what happens when you engineer the prompt. You are a senior product strategist. Analyze the onboarding experience of a fitness tracking mobile app for busy professionals. Give me the top 5 friction points, why each one matters, 3 actionable improvements, and a 100-word summary I can present to my team. See the shift? You basically handed the AI everything it needed to behave like a real strategist. You gave it a role: a senior product strategist, not a random assistant. You defined the scope. Focus only on the onboarding flow. You clarified the domain. This is a fitness app, not a banking app or a travel app. You specified the segment, busy professionals, which changes the entire lens, and you told it exactly what to deliver: friction points, why they matter, actionable improvements, and a short summary for your team. So now the AI isn't guessing, it's analyzing, it's prioritizing, it's working the way an actual product strategist would. Now the output becomes something you could genuinely take into a product review or stakeholder discussion. That's the difference. A vague prompt gives you noise. A well-designed prompt gives you strategy you can act on. Alright designers, let's take this into UX writing, because this is another place where bad prompts lead to painfully generic output. Here's the weak version. Write microcopy for a login error. Now imagine giving this brief to a UX writer on your team. They'd look at you and say, okay, but for what product? What tone? What constraints? What context? AI has the same problem. With a vague prompt like this, it'll give you something completely forgettable like, an error occurred, please try again, which is exactly the kind of copy no one wants to ship. Now look at the engineered version. You are a UX writer. Write microcopy for a login error message for a banking app. Make it reassuring, clear, and free of technical jargon. Give me 3 variations: short, medium, and detailed. Now the AI suddenly knows everything it needs: role, UX writer, context, banking app, tone, reassuring, and simple. Output, 3 versions with different lengths. This transforms the output immediately. Instead of dull error text, you get thoughtful, user-friendly microcopy that actually fits a real product scenario. And that's the whole point. A small amount of clarity turns AI from a random text generator into a UX writing partner you can rely on. Now let's take this into usability testing, because this is one area where AI can genuinely save you hours if you brief it well. Here's the weak prompt: create a usability test. Again, test what? Which feature? What tasks? What are we measuring? What should the moderator observe? With a vague prompt like this, AI will just throw together generic tasks that could apply to any app on Earth. Totally useless. Now look at the engineered version. Act as a usability testing expert. Design a 6-task usability test for evaluating the new search feature in a recipe app. Include task descriptions, success criteria, and what the moderator should observe. Keep the language simple and avoid bias. Now the AI has everything it needs: a role, usability testing expert; a scope, search feature; a product context, recipe app; a structure, 6 tasks; quality expectations; simple non-leading, moderator guidance. With this clarity, the AI stops giving you generic tasks and starts giving you a real usability testing script you could use tomorrow. This is the shift. A good prompt doesn't just give you tasks, it gives you a full testing plan that aligns with real research standards. Now, designers, let's talk about one of the easiest and most powerful prompt techniques you can use: role prompting. This simply means you tell the AI who it should be before it answers, and the moment you do this, the quality jumps instantly. Let me show you how it works. If you just say, explain gravity, you'll get a basic textbook-style explanation, but watch what happens when you add a role. Act as a friendly primary school teacher. Explain gravity using everyday examples. Now the tone changes. It becomes simple, warm, and relatable. Or take this one. Act as a grumpy but brilliant physicist. Explain gravity while complaining about common misconceptions. Suddenly, it's funny, dramatic, and full of character. See the pattern? The role you assign shapes the tone, the depth, the vocabulary, even the attitude of the answer. So, here's the trick. Whenever you prompt, ask yourself, who would I hire for this task in real life? A senior designer, a research lead, a copywriter, a strategist. Give AI that role, and you'll notice the output becomes clearer, sharper, and way more aligned with what you want. Now let's make this interactive, because the best way to learn prompt engineering is to actually fix a bad prompt. Here's the original prompt, and I promise you, this is something almost everyone has typed into an AI at least once. Help me study. Now, study what? For which subject? For which exam? At what level? Do you want summaries, practice questions, explanations, or a full plan? It's vague, it's directionless, and AI will respond exactly the same way: vague, unhelpful, and generic. So here's your task. Take this prompt and rewrite it using the 4 components we've been talking about: instruction, context, input, and output. Think of it like briefing someone on your team. You'd never say, help me study. You'd give them the whole picture. Here's an example of a well-crafted version. Create a preparation guide for my upcoming product designer interview at a tech company. Include common behavioral questions, 10 role-specific design questions with sample answers, a breakdown of what interviewers look for, and a portfolio storytelling framework. Format everything in clear bullet points. See how different that feels? You're not just asking AI for help. You're giving it a mission with clarity, structure, and purpose. So take a minute, try your own makeover, and you'll see how quickly your prompts and your results start leveling up. Alright, let's close this with something you can start using immediately: your prompt engineering toolbox. Think of these as the 6 habits that instantly make your prompts and your AI output so much better. Here we go. 1. Be specific. Tell AI exactly what you want: the angle, the depth, the audience, the tone. Leave nothing vague. Specificity is clarity. 2. Use role prompting. Give the AI a role, just like assigning work to someone on your team. Senior designer, research lead, strategist, UX writer. The role sets the mindset. 3. Add context. AI doesn't know your users, your product, or your goals unless you tell it. Context is what turns a generic answer into a relevant one. 4. Provide examples. Show the AI the pattern you want. A few lines, a sample structure, a reference, and it will mirror it beautifully. 5. Define the structure. Do you want bullet points, a table, a step-by-step breakdown? When you shape the format, the output becomes instantly more usable. 6. Ask for reasoning. For complex tasks, ask the AI to think step by step or list assumptions first. This improves logic and reduces hallucinations. Put these together, and suddenly AI stops feeling random and starts feeling like a reliable design partner. Because the truth is simple: clear instructions means clear output, and the better your prompts become, the better your work becomes. All right, designers, that brings us to the end of this session. And if there's one thing I want you to take away from today, it's this: AI is powerful, but your clarity is what unlocks that power. Good prompts aren't just an AI skill, they're a thinking skill, a communication skill, a design skill. When you prompt with intention, AI stops feeling like a tool you're experimenting with and starts feeling like a real partner that amplifies your work, your ideas, and your creativity. So keep practicing, keep refining, and keep treating your prompts the same way you treat your design decisions, with clarity, purpose, and intention. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next session.